This is section 3 of 6, and I will dive into some of the considerations to keep in mind when working with older adults and some of the strategies you can use and implement in your tutoring session. When working with individuals with hearing loss, the first consideration is to speak towards the learner. When speaking towards the learner, you need to keep your pacing in mind. Speaking too fast will make it more difficult for them to process what you are saying. You'll also want to avoid covering your mouth so that your voice can travel uninterrupted to the learners. Ensure that you enunciate. You want to be heard clearly, but you don't want to be too loud to where you are shouting. Because when you shout, your voice gets distorted and it makes it difficult to be understood. Cutting out any extra noise from the environment also helps because there is less noise that can interfere with their hearing. And for those of you that wear lipstick, wearing a bright color lipstick can assist with lip reading. Additionally, you may want to consider offering written materials as an option so that they have something to read since hearing is a challenge. This will depend on each 2D, so it would be important for you to ask them if written materials can be or should be provided in the tutoring session. For visual considerations, there are 3 categories that can help older adults learn: visuals, touch, and environment. For visual supports, you want to consider using large print and using primary colors like blue and red. Yellow is a primary color, but it is bright, so it may be difficult to see. If you are providing handouts, use white or off-white on a flat, matte, finished paper with black print. You should stay away from blue, green, and violet hues since those are hard to see as well. And lastly, try to be as descriptive as possible in the handouts. For touch, you'll also want to allow the learner to feel as much as possible when learning the material. This can be things like having them control the mouse or touching the keyboard. By doing this, you reinforce learning through the material you reinforce learning of the material through kinesthetic learning. And lastly, environment. A couple simple environmental modifications you can do is ensure that the environment is bright and reducing any glare. Shades, blinds, or curtains on any windows will help reduce glare. And also, if your client uses eyeglasses, ensure that you give them a reminder to bring them. When working with older adults, it's important to consider processing needs. New information can be challenging to remember, so speaking slowly, clearly, and loudly can help with getting your point across. Technology may be a new skill for one to learn, so be mindful of the rate at which you're speaking and don't forget to breathe. Checking for understanding throughout your tutoring session can help with memory recall and retention. So you want to ask a tutee to repeat what was taught or have them answer prepared questions at the end of each lesson. This is where you can employ the use of return demonstration, which I'll go over in the next video, but this will solidify their learning and you can address any mistakes. So if you notice they have a cluttered desktop, offer to assist them with organizing it. This will make it easier for them to use their advice and make the tutoring session efficient for yourself and for the tutee. For sensory considerations, if you have someone who has reduced sensation in their fingertips, they may experience difficulty feeling the keyboard. So a consideration you can implement is adding textured keycaps or using visual aids like stickers. And lastly, we have psychosocial considerations. Ageism refers to the stereotype, prejudice, and discrimination towards others or oneself based on their age. There is prejudice around aging, which can make some feel less competent and reduce engagement. And so you want to be mindful of choice of words that you use so that you're not exacerbating this feeling. Instead, you want to provide self-esteem and highlight their incompetence so that you help them be more engaged during their session. Most older adults did not grow up in this technology that we have today. So they're coming to your tutoring session to seek help in connecting with technology. And this is a huge step. We want to continue to encourage them to be more confident and smart and excited about using their technology. So with that being said, this will conclude section 3 of 6. So you're at the halfway point.